Hi, I'm Debbie Orman, the sciencey and spiritual gal. Sometimes the magic is in the details. And also Deborah Orman. I've been doing Tai Chi for 30 years now, so I call myself the Tai Chi health coach. I'm a certified health coach and a life coach with an occupational therapy background and a psychology background. I'm only 15 minutes late today, note. I'm doing pretty good. It's about 6:30 now. Hi, Nancy. So thanks for your patience. I think I said 6:15. I was pretty close, almost on the dot. So it's great to see you, Nancy. I am going to just speak into a little bit about, well, we're going to be doing Tai Chi and Tea. It's cold out here, by the way. I'm going to speak a little bit. Oh, hi, Ashley. Yay. We're doing a group on Thursday. Ashley and I, Nancy, I know you said you weren't always going to be doing it, so if you can, fine. Otherwise, you don't have to join us. But we're doing it Thursday this week for sure. I don't know if I'm going to meet on Wednesday or not, but Thursday we're doing it at 10:30, just in case, 10:30 Central Standard Time, in case you're interested. We're doing a tender care Tai Chi group. No pressure, though. No pressure. So we're all kind of like dispersing when we do things, and we're all busy, and we're also financially spending things like at our own rate because there's priorities, obviously. So yeah, it's a little hard right now for everybody in terms of jobs, and you know, I'm hearing from people, so I'm seeing both sides of things. This morning I spoke into the masks, offended one woman. I think because she was probably a Republican is my guess, and I spoke a little bit. It becomes politics, even though it's not really politics. It's actually about health issues. It's become political. It shouldn't be, because we all want to save lives, right? We're all people. Like, isn't that valuable for everybody? I think so. It should be. So anyway, let's not get into that. But what I really want to get into, though, is people, food. We talked about mental health, how important people are, individuals, and life. It's Mental Health Month and Mental Health Week. Food, people, hairdressers, service jobs, people having to be home and really needing their jobs. They need their finances. So let's see the other side of things, because I talk to a lot of people. I have friends who are, see things in two different ways as well. And I can empathize with all people. Not everybody, but most people. So yeah, there's two sides of the coin. So what's to be done? If a person can't go back to work and they really, really need their job and they're like really poor, it's very bad for them. They, see lots of starvation around them. What about the extremes that we see? Don't forget, I have friends from all over the world, so I hear about these things. It's rather sad and difficult. There isn't really any 100% easy answer, especially if a government is corrupt. I know the Americans that are my friends, most of them really can find something to appreciate if we compare ourselves and what we, have. There are some people who may not have this privilege. So I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not trying to inflame guilt at all. That's not it. So yeah, it's difficult. What can we do about it? So I think that there's things that can be done. I think it's very difficult. It's not an easy situation. I don't think it's completely 100% solvable, unfortunately. We can only start one person at a time. I think, though, as I speak into this, I'm going to go directly toward what I see some people watching. Oh, hi, Jeff. Nice to see you. And Ashley, too. That's nice. I see somebody else here. It's great to see people here. So what can we do about it, and what can we solve today for ourselves as well as other people who are watching this from all over the world? Yeah, it's hard. I was talking about it today. It's really difficult. You want to go back to work. I was saying, I get it. Like, you're upset because they're not letting you go back to work yet. I totally get it. You need the money. You need the money so you can give food to the children you see starving. That's a pretty bad situation, and pretty heartfelt. So when I think about that, it's like there's jobs that are, you know, there's ways in America, at least, there's opportunity for a lot of people to go back part of the time, or to go with just a few employees at a time, like what restaurants are doing that are curbside. That's ideal. It's difficult. I hear from the restaurant owners, some of them find that very nerve-wracking. They're worried that they'll lose business because it's stressful in the kitchen. There's certain pressures they're under. So how can we think into that, I guess? I think this all should be in detail talked about. I think the government should be having a stimulus package for people, to train people, so that would create some jobs. Around here, at least, we don't have a corrupt, it seems corrupt, but it's not truly a corrupt government in the sense of, you know, completely corrupt, like in other areas of the world. So we're lucky in that sense, no matter how our leaders are. Yeah, whatever side we're on. So there are opportunities, I think, that are being lost right now and missed, truthfully. I've been thinking that right from the start, you know, the train the trainer type thing, to help people with the coronavirus, to decrease the spread. There's a lot that can be done that's not being done. Little details make a huge difference, especially when there's exponential growth. And it's not like the flu. I'm just going to talk into that for a moment, because I'm hearing that, and it's, somebody just responded, they were really irate over that. I hear you. I'm just going to spread the word. It's not like the flu. In the flu, you may have the symptoms that are just like the flu for you if you're a young person with good immunity. That's true. That might be for you. That is just like the flu. But first 7 days are really crucial in treating it, by drinking hot liquids and not cold liquids to keep things from going to the lungs, for example, lots of things. After the first 7 days, for some people who are not so fortunate as you may be, maybe you're not though, you know, most people are somewhat susceptible if they're a little obese or they're this or that or that. There's a lot of people who are immunocompromised, in other words, low immunity to it, and we don't even know. So then those are the people who end up with the problems, and it's been new things we're finding out. I mean, I'm not trying to cause panic. Let's always balance that out with the positive. Like, gosh, I think people will be okay. We're pretty good. We're staying safe. We're doing the things we need to do. Let's always balance that out. What I'm saying, though, is there are possibilities so that people know a realistic sense of things and they don't make a joke of it attacking the organs, the lungs, the kidneys, I've heard of now. More and more the kidneys. For kids, there's something similar. I don't even know exactly about it. I haven't read about it. I've just heard about it. And it's attacking their heart. I mean, it's a real issue, guys. It's not the flu. This is much, much, much more dangerous than the flu, than any flu ever was. So it's nothing like the flu. For you, it might come out as just the flu, and you're very lucky and fortunate. Anyway, so enough about that. I just want to get that whole joking thing. When people are not knowledgeable about science, they shouldn't be talking, is my opinion. And that's really been a problem. Okay. I just want people to check the actual facts from really good resources. That's really important. To use your resources. Think about where you're getting your information from. Are you getting it from the scientists who actually study this stuff? All right, so let's move on. Afterward, we'll talk. Yeah, and please continue to make only appropriate remarks. So anyway, let's go ahead and continue on. We're going to be talking about the inner peace anchor. We're going to be doing the inner peace anchor, and then we're going to be doing the Tai Chi Chuan, and then at the end we're going to be doing a little bit more talking, speaking into this, because I want to keep it to a half hour. Let's see where we're at right now. It's 6:38. So that means it's about right. So I'm going to start moving now. And also it's cold out here, brr. So I'm going to start moving, and then we're going to go back, and we're just going to continue the conversation a bit about hairdressers and your lack thereof and how much you miss them, and see what we can do about foods as well, okay? And just thinking about the fact that who we surround ourselves with and what we put into our body, what we choose to allow in, really makes a huge difference in who we become and who we are. and how we feel. Okay, that's all very important. Our hair, not so much, although it all equates because we want to look good on the outside too. Okay, hold on just one second. And our hairdressers are somewhat genius and our best friends. I've always thought they were geniuses, truly. Okay. I had this funny thing. I had this funny conversation with a friend one day. She said, Debbie, we were talking about hairdressers, and I said, you know, I think that I've always found it, I've never dared cut my own hair or cut anyone else's hair. My mom would cut hair. I would never dare. I always thought that, like, when I would go to the hairdresser, it seemed like something I could never, like, even fathom doing. I always thought my hairdressers were like these geniuses. Like, how do they do it? There's so many of these hairs. And, like, how do they arrange it? And how do they, like, I would just keep cutting obsessively until I ended up with, like, a bald head on a person. I would be so nervous. So to me, it was just like something like, it was like, thank God, that is not me. And then they make conversation while they're cutting the hair. I'm like, oh my God. And they're usually like the nicest people. And they're risking their lives breathing in all these horrible chemicals. I mean, gosh, what self-sacrificing people. So anyway, let's move on. We're going to be doing, yes. We're going to be doing, hi Ian, how are you? Okay, so let's go ahead and do, yes. We're doing the sun's coming out right now, and now let's actually do the bear walk. The bear walk, we're just going back and forth and kind of swinging, letting our arms swing. Okay, so let's just do a little punching just for the warm-up. I know this is hard to do and coordinate if you've never done it before, so just do the lower body or just do the upper body. Not both is my recommendation if you're just learning. So it would be like this, or it would be just like this. I would recommend the lower body, just stepping forward. You're stepping into your power. Yes, it's the most fun when you do both, I agree. So we're just gonna do that once. Okay. So now let's go ahead, inner piece anchor. We've got our hands facing upward, our palms up. We're breathing. Okay, so that's 3 deep breaths, and you've got your palms up. You're receiving from the universe that's also coming out of the trauma. That's actually what trauma therapists have said, that palms up is really powerful. So when you're listening to somebody, I often will turn my palms up. It just allows me to listen better sometimes. It's almost a psychological thing. I don't know if that's actually anything scientific. It just all goes together to me. And you're receiving from the universe. You're also out of that tech neck position where you're like this. You know, little old lady position, right? Or man. And then here you're upright. You're up toward the sky, Tai Chi like way, connected downward. All right. So let's go ahead and receive from the universe. What's the next step? 3 deep breaths. I'm Debbie Orman, by the way, the sciencey and spiritual gal. Sometimes the magic is in the details. Yes, sometimes it is. So yeah, we're gonna start by doing the inner peace anchor, my signature system, and the first step being the breathing, the 3 deep breaths. And I like to say with your palms up, that helps ideally. Out of the shame, out of the old stories and the trauma in this day and age. And so breathing, exhaling twice as long as you inhale. It's out through like a straw. That's where the calm comes, by the way. The twice as long is key. That's a detail that's key. And it's also about breathing out through your mouth, or like you're fogging up a mirror. Let's do it. You could close your eyes too if you wish. So that felt good. That slows down your system and relaxes you. Yes, one hair at a time. And good night, Ashley. Yes, good night, good night. Are you going to sneaking to sleep already? So yeah, you know, here's the thing. One hair at a time is how you cut it. Yes, that would take me forever. I would be so OCD. I think that I was thinking of trying to trim, not cut, but just trim my own hair. I actually had a little dream, not a dream, but I had a thought process today about just trying to cut off any of the, the ends that split. No big deal. I'm not particularly worried about it, but I was just thinking about that because I was growing my hair out anyway, truthfully. So it just happens to be a good time for me, but it's still nice to just kind of clean up the ends, and there's no risk involved. Everybody else looks like shit too, so I have a perfect excuse. Everybody's trying their home haircutting kits, and apparently you use a number 5 is what I heard. I read that on somebody's post, that you use a number 5, it's more forgiving. God knows what that means. My mom, she'll bring the kit. She knows how to do everything. Do it herself. I lost that in this generation. Oh my gosh, you have to be up at 3, Ashley. You already had your banana and nut butter. See, an ideal client for me is somebody who listens to me and takes direction in a nice kind of way. I don't mean like I'm directing them. I'm always thinking of the client and if it's something they can handle, and we work together to figure out what we want as our goals. I guide them, though, depending on how much guidance they need. Sometimes people just want me to take over, and I do, and then other people don't. So, with Ashley, who's continues to encourage me to share everything. I don't share everything, but she continues to encourage that. And she says that one thing I recommended for her is before she goes to bed, she was worried about waking up in the middle of the night and stuff. We just talked about adding in her diet the nut butter, whatever type she chose. In her case, I think she chose peanut butter, and also, or maybe it was almond butter actually. And then also the banana. It was just a good thing. It has something in it that helps you sleep, I believe. Was either the increasing the serotonin level or so it was the tryptophan in it. I forget, but it was something that allows a person to sleep better. I've known that for a while. And then adding the nut butter, sort of grounding the protein. Mood food, I always think of it as stabilizing our mood when we have something with a carb that's a protein. A carb meaning the banana in this case, in a way. I think. I hope I'm getting that right. Sometimes I'm not always knowing everything 100%, and then I would just look it up. Yeah, holding out 2 more weeks until I can get it cut. Kate, yes. Are they opening there? I'm wondering, you don't have to type it in if you're busy, but I'm just curious if you do happen to get a chance to answer. Yeah. Some of them are starting to open, I think. Some are more conservative and some are a little less, so it depends on, again, if they do it right, it's always 100% a little bit more risky to open anything, obviously. When you have people together, there's always risks. I'm still working, though, with my client, in her home, and there's other people, so it's a little bit of a risk. I'm young enough that I feel I'm safe, and the balance is, the money's nice, and blah, 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 and it's helpful for her, for sure. So, yeah, you've got to kind of balance outweigh the pros and cons. You just don't want really crowded areas. Obviously, you want restrictions on how many customers, things like that. There's all kinds of things that could be trained and more consistent right now that's not being done that would allow people to get back to work, in a smart, conscious way. It's just that the free-for-all isn't really working for people because people don't know what to do. They don't know what's the right thing. There's all kinds of theories out there and confusion. So that's really what I'm speaking to. I think we're all on the same page, no matter what politics we come from, that we want human lives. I would assume that's something people want. I can't imagine why they wouldn't. And all human lives are valuable, obviously. They're taking a ton of precautions. Oh, good. I'm glad they're taking a ton of precautions. Excellent. And they are dynamite. Cool. That's great, Kate. That's great. Thanks for coming by. I haven't met Kate yet. So it's great to see new people here always. So we're going to do the second step of my signature system, the Inner Peace Anchor. I'm really passionate about mental health right now, and I want to check my timer. Just 1 second. Yeah, I just realized I didn't have my timer here. Here's my timer. This is not a timer. This is water. In here is water. I purposely brought it out this time because I'm trying to drink a little bit more water I'm adding something because I'm taking away some calories this month. I decided that I had gained some weight on my scale, even though it's not showing a ton. It's enough to get me alarmed, because not alarmed, but like, it's like a little alarm that's going off in my head, like, don't go there. Because then you can keep gaining and gaining and gaining, and it's the dangerous fat when it goes around your stomach. 640, for me, it's always around my stomach. I'm not a pear shape, unfortunately. The pear shapes are lucky because they have the fat around the hips. The women who are pear shaped are lucky, health-wise, because they don't have it pressing down on their internal organs. Like people like me, if I gain weight, it's always around my stomach. I don't look like I'm huge or anything, but obviously, but I, it's not the healthy fat. 650. Okay, so I started at about 20 minutes ago, I believe. So I probably have 10 minutes left. I've got to keep talking quickly, getting quickly the movement in, because the Tai Chi takes 10 minutes. That's the grand ultimate fist training, the martial art, internal martial art. It's really done for health today rather than for fighting. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Hi. Yeah. Oh, she says my hair looks beautiful. Wouldn't trim it yet. You could wear it in a ponytail. Oh, thank you so much. That's so beautiful of you to compliment it. Thank you. Yeah, the trim is really minimal. If I trim it, boy, I'm not bold with cutting hair. Trust me. It's going to be a teeny, teeny, teeny bit just to cut off those dead ends. You know what I mean? Those cracked ends. You wouldn't even notice. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm not worried about it yet, though. I don't feel desperate. And great suggestions. Thanks. I always love that. The people that are my clients are just like, she's done Zoom groups with me, and they're just like always fabulous is what I find. So I can learn more from them sometimes. So let me just say something. We're gonna keep going, and I'm glad to see you here. Hello, hello. Putting down the water. So drinking more water. When you add something in, rather than concentrating on what I'm not focusing on what I'm taking away, because there's some sweets I'm taking away, like I'm not allowing myself as much with sweets. They're around. There's some potato chips or like things that aren't so good for me. Too much nuts isn't so good. Too much of a good thing's not so good. I can be a little less nutty. So I'm taking that away, but I'm not focused on that. I'm talking into the drinking the more water, drinking more tea, eating more of the vegetables, like the peppers, washing them ahead of time, clustering them. Okay, so balance, less calories overall.